Oh, hello there. Welcome back, my darling Aries. Let's have a look at April, shall we? I know we're in a fairly intense eclipse portal, particularly for you guys. So if you have Aries in your chart, sun, moon, or rising, you're going to be feeling the themes around the eclipse. So it's going to be really interesting to do a reading in the midst of it, right? So we can sort of understand what we're in and better reformulate our thought patterns and our behaviors around that we're in the middle of something that hasn't actually shown us the clarity of the wisdom of moving out of the portal yet. But I think certainly a reading in the midst of it, looking forward to the month ahead, and it's probably your birthday month or you've already had your birthday, but we're sort of in this natural beginning to the year or the Astro New Year. We're in a eclipse season, which is a portal of change. It just means that the right doors are going to close and the right ones are going to open. But usually while we're in it, it's just like doors are opening and closing. We can't really understand which one we're walking through and which one we have to say goodbye to. So it can feel very distressing. And there has been a lot of SOS distress calls this week, particularly. So above all else, self-care is really important, and taking the time to regulate your nervous system enough so that you feel safe to witness rather than feel a victim of. Very different paradigms to understand the messages from spirit and what's coming through to be healed. If we are in fight and flight all the time, everything's going to feel like a drama. Everything's going to feel like a problem, particularly for the Aries sun, because we can be a little bit dramatic. But we need to be able to witness the changes and notice the doors opening and closing without reacting fully to what that means yet, because it will become apparent probably after the 8th. And then we can sort of move forward into what April is going to deliver us from that place of wisdom, and that things have already played out and we've already seen change. So again, 3-card reading, nice and simple, different levels of awareness, and then one shadow card to make sure that we're understanding the stuff that isn't at the surface yet, might be laying a bit dormant, maybe needs our consent to pull it out a bit further. So engaging in shadow work is really important. Otherwise, we can also feel victim to it, like we couldn't see it coming and all of a sudden it's there, and people can feel quite unsettled or betrayed by that information. So if we get the heads up, it's all good. Four of Wands is about being in right relationship, being in a very nourishing relationship with our home environment. So it does speak of home and family, but we are in one's territory. We are in the feeling of what are we creating in our home space? What are we creating in our relationships that feel like home? This card speaks to me a lot about safety. Do we actually feel safe enough in our own homes and in our own community that we've created in order to regulate properly, in order to heal, in order to move through what we have to move through on a spiritual, emotional, and physical level? Because working with people for a long period of time has taught me that as soon as we feel safe in a relationship, in a home environment, in a community, in our workplace, and everywhere, once that safety kicks in, it can create such a strong foundation that then there's an opportunity to start flushing out all of the old hurts and all of the unresolved traumatic events and all of the things that weren't addressed when we were in fight and flight because we weren't feeling safe. So it can be the person that finally lands a home that feels right. It can be actually finding someone to be in a healthy relationship with the boundaries and the respect and the communication. It can really start bringing stuff to the surface. So a fairly confusing experience for some in the beginning, because they think, oh, finally, I've got what I need. Why is all this stuff coming up? But remember that the 3D environment needs to be safe and secure in order for us to go into the 4 and 5D expressions, which is a more multidimensional plane, which means we can move further up our ascension pathway. But if the 3D is always in chaos, which means you never got any money in the bank account, you're always moving around, you're never having a stable environment, you don't have stable people around you, you don't have a sense of safety in your body because fight and flight and cortisol are taking over, then we can't move through that experience. It's profoundly important to have. It doesn't mean it needs to be a version that the world wants you to have. We're not asking for a marriage and a white picket fence and kids and SUVs and stuff. We're actually asking for what's right for you, what makes you feel the safest right now so that you can do very important healing work. Now, for some of you, that's jumping in a van and being on the road and having nobody else's needs to attend to. For others, it's having time alone in your own house and a boundaried space to create, to craft, to sit, to be. It's really different for everyone. Some people need a tiny little home that has not much cleaning. Others need a huge big mansion to feel expansiveness and space. And really go with what works for you. But ask yourself the question, do I feel safe in my body, in my living arrangement, and with my inner circle? Now, your inner circle, also no judgment on that. If you're going straight to, oh, well, I don't have a partner, therefore I can't feel safe, that's straight into ego. What we need here is a conversation with the self around, are the requirements and the environment right for me to open the doorways to what I think is creative leadership? Because a lot of people can't answer the question of why would I bother going after this? Because it kind of just feels like I'd prefer to move around, do whatever I want. If we have the opportunity from a sense of safety and the right environment and the right relationships to move into creative leadership and being the person that can sit in sovereignty more often and say, what am I creating in the world? What is my purpose? How do I pursue that? And how do I have a sense of leadership, if just for myself, to lead the way towards what I think is creatively important in my life? And maybe I can set the scene for others, or maybe I can create change in the world that feels meaningful. Maybe I can lead a conversation, even if it's in my peer group, around creativity and finding passion and finding purpose and being in the pursuit of that for a healthy amount of, I just want to find the right reading for this card, so that we can keep on pursuing uncharted territory with a sense of the unknown and uncertainty that feels important for us. Now, all of the cards in this reading are wands, and it's a very wand time in Aries season. You know, Aries is about leading the way, going into uncharted territory, being a warrior of light, understanding that sometimes we do need to face our fears and pick our battles and go out there and strive, but only from a place where your basic needs are met. Going out and being a warrior of light for everybody else's sake when your life is a mess is not going to work. It's not sustainable. We need right home, right relationship, right foundation, a call to leadership, which means how could I be part of the solution and not part of the problem? How could I be an empowering change in the world, even if it's as small as being mindful about waste, or living in alternative circumstances, or finding freedom in relationship styles, or whatever it is, whatever's important for you based on what you're trying to heal. This card speaks to me of the natural place that an Aries might sit, which is having creatively a foundation, which is the first one behind him. Yeah, we've managed to find a sense of adventure in our lives, But it's still important for us to dream about the rest of the world and what else we could create and what's out there for us. Right? I'm not saying get the secure home and sit there and don't do anything. Find the security that you need. Start providing a sense of sovereignty for yourself, which is independence, which I know you love, Aries. And then start dreaming about opening the world up or your world. But let's not sacrifice all the hard work that you've done. This season for you will be about moving through into the places that you've always been called to move into, striving towards those impulsive and instinctive places that you know are quote unquote good for you, and being okay sometimes with feeling that you're the one that has to initiate that change. Because Aries, if you're sitting around waiting for someone else to take you on the adventure and for someone else to provide that happy home for you and someone else to be providing these conversations, this tells me that's not going to work. We need enough time and space and safety and security to say, what am I doing about my needs? And how am I creating a sense of adventure in my life? And what calls to otherworldly prospects am I interested in? It is a very dynamic time. This tells me that once the eclipse settles and we see what doesn't work, and maybe what doesn't work for you is the home environment that you're creating. And here's the shadow part. It might be that what active role are you playing in the dysfunction and in the sense of unsafety in your own environment? Are you picking fights? Are you enabling other people? Are you complaining about the mess but not doing anything about it? Are you putting everybody else's needs first before your own? What is actually happening for you where you're getting in the way of what this could be, right? It's very much like, what needs are not being met? How can I provide those needs for myself in the most holistic, sustainable way so that I can be called into a sense of sovereignty more often, right? This is not codependency in any way. This is not, woe is me, the system won't give me what I want. This is not the whole thing's broken, I'll never get what I want, and it's no excuses. The king doesn't have time for excuses, particularly not the King of Wands. He's an impulsive, creative, dynamic, exciting king to be around. So finding that sense of fun and play and responsibility and leadership is what the King of Wands and his alchemy is bringing in for you. So it's like, how could I sit on my own throne, which is how could I be independently and uniquely me, and start making decisions from a place of worthiness, from creativity, from fun and play, without it being a dependent, childlike shadow play. It's got to be a playfulness on a big scale. This could be, am I finding a sense of adventure and fun in my work? And if not, what can I change? If I take full self-responsibility and full accountability for what I'm not creating for myself based on my highest needs, how could I change it? Right? I'm not saying quit your job. I'm saying work with the parameters that you have in order to find that sense of creative spark, right? There's an unlimited amount of creative spark with the King of Wands. He doesn't run out of that spark at all, so that I can navigate travel or adventure or tuning in to another part of the world or another part of my world for a sake of discovery and adventure. A very Aries card, this one. He doesn't have to negate the one that he's already worked hard to achieve. He's going out there to say, well, what else can I achieve outside of my comfort zone? Comfort zone, sovereignty, then outside of my comfort zone, what is the world offering that I might need? Very, very exciting, Aries. And it is your season. You should find a natural fit with the collective soup. And if it's not a natural fit and it doesn't feel good, it's trying to get you there to that place where you shine, which is action, activity, childlike play, adventure, instinct, impulse, creative spark, doing things because of a why not sense of life, living your best life, right? The shadow aspect for you, Aries, which we will pull in. This will be interesting. Monkey, number 22. So monkey asks us to, and it really ties in so beautifully, trust your instincts and don't get too caught up in the distractions. So we need the fire to understand in our body what lights us up, right? What makes your heart sing? What makes your body light up with, fuck yeah, I want to do that. That sounds amazing. But monkey says, don't get too distracted in the fire, right? Because if the fire burns too bright, it won't last as long. Yeah. Bring in a bit of Chinese medicine because I love it. But if we use too much kidney yang and too much fire and too much spark all the time, we're going to run out. We need the spark to say, yes, that's what I want to do. Yes, I feel the sense of adventure. But have the patience and the understanding that true adventure does take some planning and does take some time to work towards and prepare for. No distractions here. The king can't be in a distracted place. He has to be focused on what is good for me, what is good for the world, what is good for my community, what serves, how can I serve my own needs without getting distracted about putting out little spot fires and doing everything for everyone else and going, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. But what is it that I actually want to do? And how do I protect the security and the foundation that I've worked so hard to achieve? How can I have it all without putting down one thing and sacrificing that for the sake of something else? So you might be excited about something new, but weigh it up, right? Monkey is very limber and can move around easily and quickly and works in big groups. So it has this capacity, monkey energy has this capacity to impulsively go after something in a really awesome way really quickly. But then they can get destructive in their nature for needing to be naughty and impulsive all the time. So Aries, let's focus in. Focus and direct your fire, direct your attention to that which feels wholesome, adventurous, sustainable, and also grounded. Yeah, call towards a grounding with monkey. If we want the medicine from monkey, we can't be moving around too quickly. It's really about channeling the fire. The biggest thing for fire signs and wand people is sustainability, right? It's all well and good to go on the adventure of your lifetime, but if you come back and bottom out and burn out, you need to take 6 months off work, and work provided a beautiful sense of grounding for you, we haven't got to a place of holistic sovereignty yet. We need the discipline, we need the grounding, we need the patience, but not at the sake of saying, well, if I have all that stuff, I can't go on an adventure. We can have it all. So guide the fire well, understand that a sense of adventure is available to you. There is a big world out there, but we also need to ground ourselves and make sure that it's the right time for us, the right circumstance, the right intention, and the right people involved. And if not, we wait for the right conditions. We don't take the adventure from an impatient place based on fear, right? We take it from a sense of unlimited capacity for creative spark, adventure, and play. Not for, I have to do it right now to prove to myself that I am that person. It's more wait, hold. You can have all the energy of an entire forest of monkeys if you play the game well. if you understand your signal systems, and if you can sustainably use your yang energy for the right things. It is finite, that energy. The fire will burn out, and it usually burns out when you go into sickness, burnout, depression, holding a very low mood, because we just don't have enough of that kidney energy left. You got a long life to live. So think about it from longevity. How would I get a sense of adventure and play and passion in my whole life so that I always felt in tune with that part of me? The ultimate question. April's going to pull it out and have you dissect it really well. So don't forget your self-care, sitting in silence meditation, journaling, looking after yourself, nutrition, plenty of water, exercise, all the things that keep you grounded, all of the things that keep you well, so that we can fully move into that adventure for you guys. So thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. I'll see you next month. Bye.